in front of them. Another chance at a restart here for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Street Stocks as they open them up, and we go green this time. The top four cars bounce their way through 1 and 2. Bob Barnett dropped back to 4th. Kitty Carroll in 3rd, and Flood with his nose underneath the 27 Ott, jockeying for position, but a car, and that is JT beneath our belts. Flood spies the orange cone, gets a great jump on the field, and the 42 driven by the Crane, Missouri native leads them through 1 and 2. The 69 of Brian Brown gets shuffled back as he gets split by Johnny Coates and Derek Brown. Brown with 8 race wins on the season, 5 of them coming here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks.
Well, James Flood had talked about on Facebook how his car just seemed to be dialed in from the get-go, just some minor adjustments that he had to make, and all those adjustments have paid off for him as he is bad fast. Now 2 cars involved over in 2, and a tough break for Colton Borland, the pilot of the number 2 out of Appleton.
We'll go green flag racing again now as James Flood jumps out in front of the pack. Ott and Carroll behind him. Just the 3rd night behind the wheel this season for the ditch digger. Kitty Carroll, the driver of the 94. As he gets a good run on the entry of turn number 3, drifts up the racetrack, tries his hand at the high side, see what sort of run he gets off of 4, and that will allow him to slingshot up and past the 27 Ott of Toby Ott. It looks like that top side coming into play early here now as Ott drops back a couple car lengths behind James Flood, and Kenny Carroll not going to come off that line right now, Shane, as he'll get another good run off of 4, not enough to get up to the front, but enough to pull up alongside your 2-time track champion in Toby Ott.
And very rarely do you see these street stocks really climb the ladder like that over in the turns and try to get up into the sticky stuff. Kenny Carroll's found something up there that's been able to work for him. The track is somewhat rough, a little bit lower over in turns 1 and 2. You've seen Bob Barnett bounce through it as he's able to make it through cleanly that time. And here comes Toby Ott for the lead.
Ott at the bottom of the racetrack, catfishes his way around the Diamond of Dirt tracks, goes through the middle of turn number 4, keeps Flood behind him, and Kitty Carroll pulls up alongside the door handle of the 42. All the while, remember when I told you Clayton Campbell was in 10th? Now he's in a battle for 5th with Big Show, Bob Barnett, and Brian Brown in the 69. The 30C is flying through the field here as we are just 6 laps into our 20-lap feature, and it's the 54 now retiring early. That's Brandon Hayes, the pilot of the 54B. He's slowed up in the top of turn number 2. Don't know that he is going to be able to get back behind the wall without any help. Ott pulling away from the rest of the field, but inside that big orange tire, and press his foot to the floor as we go back to green flag racing. 14 laps to go here in our first of 5 features tonight here on Fan Appreciation Night. Ott, Carroll, Flood, Johnny Coates goes to the bottom of the racetrack, finds something to his liking there, tries to get around the 42. He'll have that 3rd spot. Here as we get another lap in the books, and Coates now puts his foot to the floor. He's going to try and get around both of them, but gets a little squirrely off of turn number 2. Trouble in turn number 2 now as a pair of 7s collide. 3 7s.
Yeah.
Well, the 4th one didn't get involved in it. Behind him. And Ott will open it up and open up a 2-car length advantage as he enters turn number 1. Carroll on the inside, Coates on the outside. They bounce their way through turn at number 2, but the 22 spins in between turns 1 and 2. That will bring the caution out yet again. Ott pushes it to the floor again. Another clean getaway in front of Kenny Carroll and Johnny Coates. Your race leader slows down through 1 and 2. Everybody clumps up back in the pack, but gets away cleanly through the first half lap. Kenny Carroll pulls up on the back side of the 27 Ott as it fishtails off of 4. But we get one more green flag lap in the books. Toby Ott right now can't get away from Kenny Carroll, and Clayton Campbell is up to 3rd. The 30C started 17th, and if the race ended right now, he'd have a podium finish as he's gotten around Flood and Coates. Does he have anything left, or has he used it all up to try and get around Carroll and have a shot at Toby Ott? Clayton Campbell has crisscrossed his way through the field and is in third, halfway home. 10 laps down, 10 laps to go for the driver from Otterville.
And he wasn't picking them off one at a time. He was picking them off 2 and 3 at a time on turns, and just the power that he's got on the straightaway. He's just able to blow past anyone that's in front of him. But now that he has gotten up to the front, it's been slow going for the last couple of laps. Kenny Carroll would be the next to fall to Clayton Campbell as we've completed 11 laps, and right now Carroll's running better lap times, as is Toby Ott, who is well out in front of this one, as he now has a 1.5 second advantage over Kenny Carroll.
Same lead he had the previous lap as Campbell tries to pull up behind the ditch digger but can't gain any ground. Johnny Coates rides in 4th, James Flood in 5th, and it's Brian Brown in 6th. And Big Show Bob Barnett, the 27, in 7th. All about Toby Ott right now, your race leader, sponsored by Hobby Time Motorsports, TNT Quick Shop, and Outlaw Race Bodies. He was the track champion here in 2017 and again last year. Brought a different car to the track a couple of weeks ago, and right now it is paying dividends as he continues to enjoy a better than a second lead on Kenny Carroll, who's just out in his 94 for the 3rd time in 2020. Ott will roll it under the flag stand again now.
Now Johnny Coates is tucked back in behind Clayton Campbell. Campbell now really not able to catch up with those top 2 cars, as he's just been mired back there with Johnny Coates. James Flood, who ran up front for the opening couple of laps, he's drifted all the way back, and he is settled into 5th right now as your top 5 cars all strung out as they're over on the backstretch. Only real side-by-side action now is Derek Brown. And what kind of a surprise is this for Derek Brown, that's just not been able to move through the field at all? He's back in 8th, has not moved up at all. Bob Barnett's the next one right in front of Derek Brown, but Toby Ott has set sail with only a couple of laps left. He might catch up with lap traffic, but he has a good enough cushion over Kenny Carroll right now. Should not matter with 2 to go.
Ott's largest lead of the night now at 1.7 seconds. They shaved a 10th off of it that time, did Kenny Carroll. With just a couple more circuits around, Ott starting to creep up on the back of the field. He will see the white flag first. The 27 Ott of Toby Ott with Kenny Carroll behind him. Ott will fly off of turn number 2. Plenty of room in front and behind the reigning track champion here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. And on Fan Appreciation Night, Toby Ott will be the first man to make a trip to Victory Lane. So for this one, Striegel waves the green flag, and the 99, like it's shot out of a cannon, jumps out. That 1935 Ford Coupe fast as he sees the green flag. They are 2 wide. Back behind him is the Z28. Starts falling back, opening the door for John Steenstry out of Independence, Missouri, to all of a sudden just fire up and fly around your race leader. Whatever happened, I kind of thought these guys lined up and just kind of went with it.
Oh, no.
They are racing out there.
That is a 64 Chevelle that leads the way for John Steenstry out of Independence. He's now going to be challenged by the 73 Chevelle of Jeremy Turner, the McConville Racing Chassis, Turner Auto, Downs Syndrome Guild of Kansas City, a sponsor on that number 11 machine as well, and they're going to battle side by side. And at the line, that time around it goes to Turner.
In that all Chevelle battle that's about to get broken up. Damon Clevenger, Shane, came from the back of the pack to win his heat race earlier tonight, and he feels like he can do it again here in the feature. No, the Z28 turns around, 3 cars collected. Turner will get him going here again out of turn number 4 now. Clevenger 6 has been fast all night. He showed that in the heat race. He goes to the bottom of the racetrack after the restart, but can't get a good run off of turn number 2 to try and wheel it around the 11.
Well, Larry Waters making some noise now as he is up to 3rd in that orange 1955 Chevy. The number 88 is on his way towards the front. And how about the run by Damon Clevenger, that 38 Chevy sedan, now going to challenge for the lead. That number 6 car looks to the inside of Jeremy Turner in the Chevelle. And the sedan will have the advantage coming off of turn 4, but that advantage is wiped away as Jeremy Turner gets a good run.
I'd say better than a good run. The 11 just firing down the front stretch. Clevenger's got the advantage as they drag race down the back. Clevenger pins his car to the bottom of the racetrack, Turner around the top, and Clevenger will lead him around here again.
Question is, does Larry Waters have enough laps to get up to the front? He's running 3rd now, but he's slowly starting to reel him in.
Depends on how much Clevenger and Turner end up side-by-side racing in the closing laps. Halfway home, the scheduled distance for this race, 12 laps. Waters wheels it through 1 and 2 now with Clevenger out in front. Your top 2 cars starting to run into lap traffic. They will go around Gerloff in the 34.
What great job by the lap traffic to get to the inside and let these leaders battle it out. And as we say that, one of the lapped cars drifts up high on the track and cuts off right in front of Jeremy Turner, and that's going to cost Turner. He was right with Clevenger, and now it's a good 6 car lengths back.
And now it looks like the 4 is going to loop it around in turn number 4. The 34 avoids it.
Flag in his left hand. Just guessing.
It looks like it. The green and the white fly from the Wheatland Outlaw, and Clevenger gets into the gas. It'll be a 2-man race between Clevenger and Turner, unless the 88 of Larry Waters can stick his nose up in there. Turner backs off a little bit on the entry of turn number 3. He bounces it through turn number 4. Clevenger gets a good run, but the checkered flag will go to Jeremy Turner, your Show Me Vintage race winner here tonight.
Back in row 2, it's Jason Percy and R.C. Whitwell. And it is nearly 4 across at the start-finish line as we get this one rolling. Burrell drifts up high on the track. Whitwell looks to take advantage as he tries to squeeze in between 2 cars. Burrell will chop off his nose, go straight to the bottom of the track, and all of a sudden he's going to fight for that top spot as he's side-by-side with Robbie Reed, but Reed will have it by a half a car length at the line the first time around. It's a tough go over in turn 1. That bottom line still has that rut that you have to deal with, and Jason Persley becomes the first victim of it as he bounces through turns 1 and 2, and he's going to drop all the way back to 5th and have competition from the outside of him by Brody Roby, and Roby will look to take that 5th spot away as he goes to the top shelf. Darren Fuqua is just mired back in 6th. Now here comes R.C. Whitwell. He will fly around Tracy Wolf. He'll get by Mickey Burrell as well. He'll go from 4th to 2nd all in 1 lap. 3 car lengths behind your race leader and Robbie Reed.
The newest resident of Fayetteville, Arkansas is flying around the Diamond of Dirt tracks as R.C. Whitwell started 4th, picks up a couple of cars in 1 move, and now tries to reel in Robbie Reed. And right now, Shane, it may be about follow the leader because you see the problems in the bottom of 1 and 2. Reed has already made that adjustment. He's carving 1 and 2 right through the middle, taking his half right out of the middle, but Whitwell continues to keep that 96T buried to the bottom of the track.
Tracy Wolf will get sideways off of turn 4. That opens the outside line for Darren Fuqua. Fuqua started back in row 4. He's now worked up to 4th, looking for one more position to the outside of Wolf. Whenever we saw Darren Fuqua dominate here just a couple years ago, he was one of those like an Andy Bryant in a B-Mod, like a Caden Cornell in a late model, likes to run the top side, carry that momentum all the way around the track. He has gone right back to work there where he left off 2 years ago, inching higher and higher on the track, trying to find a little bit of grip, that tacky stuff up top, but he just has not found enough to make it around Wolf, and now he will as Tracy Wolf gets sideways, and he did that all on his own, loses 3rd to Darren Fuqua. All in the meantime, R.C. Whitwell starting to knife into the lead that Robbie Reed has picked up. A car length here, a car length there. He continues to stay as low on the track as he can, stay to the inside of those ruts, and now he makes the run on Robbie Reed. Reed up high on the track will lose the lead to R.C. Whitwell, who grabs the lead 9 laps in.
R.C. Whitwell is one heck of a wheelman, and he has gotten around the defending track champion in short order. 9 laps down and a huge gap behind Reed all the way back to the car in 3rd place as the caution comes out. Chase Jones in trouble
last time around, and a slower start for R.C. Whitwell this time, but he will lay on the gas and get off to a good start in turn 1. Go to the low side as we've seen him do so many times. Now Darren Fuqua loses a lot of ground as he drifts way higher on the track out of turn 2 than what he's used to. Now he'll dive bomb on Robbie Reed. Grab that spot back and off of turn 4. Takes 2nd away from the number 5 machine, your current point leader. And now you see a little bit of smoke coming out of the left rear of Robbie Reed. He's going in reverse. He's splitting the field as he is going straight to the back of the pack. A tough loss for Robbie Reed as he's going to go to the infield. He's not going to go to the infield. He's going to stay on the track for now as the entire field has passed him by. And a big crash on the front. Rolling is Chase Jones. He gets collected by Mickey Burrell. More damage done to Dow. One here this year. Robert Heidenreich and Chase Domer. R.C. Whitwell hammer down again as the green flag flies. A 2-car length advantage at the start-finish line, but Fuqua goes right back to the high side and gets a great run off of turn 2. Pulls right up on the back bumper of Whitwell. Whitwell back to the low side, then drifts up high off the track off of turn 4. Heidenreich gets tagged by Terry Kirk coming off of turn 4, and now Robert Heidenreich goes straight to the back of the field. He loses a lot of track position. This is going to turn into a 2-car battle for the final 13 laps.
Now, Buttonbuck Ryan Middahl may have something to say before they get there with a 25-lap feature. He's still got time to bring that 21 toward the front.
Both the top 2 cars of Fuqua and R.C. Whitwell have started the gap, and now Bittinger in turn 4 will spin it around. Arizona/Arkansas native in R.C. Whitwell. Green flag back in the air on a single file restart with 12 laps to go. And Fuqua had his nose in the inside of R.C. He is going to lose a lot of ground as he hits a rut over in turn 2. Ryan Middahl will get past him, and Middahl will work up to 2nd with Fuqua now running the high side. 1, 2, 3. It's Whitwell, Middahl, Fuqua.
Middahl carrying that front tire all the way through turn number 2. But look at the run that Fuqua gets off the top of turn 2. The big-time bail bonds ride. Chopping up the distance between he and Middahl, and he will take the 2nd place on the pylon back away from Buttonbuck here as Whitwell continues to catfish, taking the shortest distance around. Whitwell.
R.C. Whitwell running low side of the track. Fuqua to the outside. He will now get around the 21, take over 2nd with 10 laps to go. He's got 10 laps now to be able to catch up with the 96 of R.C. Whitwell. Middahl drops back to 3rd. Side-by-side battle for 4th is Pursley working to the outside of the 292 of Kyle Thompson out of Joplin, Missouri. Kyle having a good run in that National Repair Center Joplin Transport and 41 shock machine, but he will give way to the principal, Jason Pursley, who takes over 4th. Now, all the cars starting to run, at least in the top three, a little bit lower on the track as Peyton Phillips will make the right-hand turn. His night done. Fuqua runs high over in turns 1 and 2. He's found something over there, but then he will go right back to the bottom of the track in turns 3 and 4, following the wheels of the 96 of R.C. Whitwell. They're starting to split the ruts over in turns 3 and 4 as Schultz, Kirk, and Dowell all go to the inside. Domer, Evan Hubert, and Nick Binninger all run the high side over on that end of the track.
Whitwell has never given up that line at the bottom of the racetrack, Shane. And you see now Darren Fuqua starting to search a little bit. He'll go top shelf through 1 and 2, but see if he comes back down low again in 3 and 4 and try and mimic the line that Whitwell has. He does, as they both go in the bottom third of the racetrack as he tries to gain ground 0.6 of a second behind your race leader.
But you're at a point right now with 4 laps left, you can't mimic the guy in front of you. You've got to do something different to try to find a way to catch up with him and get around him. A good set of turns in 3 and 4 for Fuqua as he's able to knock it down to a 0.7 second advantage. He'll go low side this time in turns 1 and 2. He makes up some ground, but once they hit the backstretch, Whitwell just has more horsepower under the hood and is able to pull away from Fuqua. Now Evan Hubert will spin it over in turn 2. Almost collects down.
Does he look like when he's there every week?
R.C. Whitwell with a good restart. Fuqua in tow. Now Darren's going to have 3 laps left, and R.C. Whitwell has 3 laps to fend off the 2018 national champ. A big-time run over off of turn 2. Here comes Fuqua. Grabs the lead. Can he hang on to that momentum off of turn 4? He'll have 2 laps now to hold R.C. Whitwell at bay. R.C. goes back to the inside. He'll make a run, but a little bit of a bobble on turn 2, and that might be all the Dream Crusher needs to cruise to a feature win and a $1,000 payday. White flag in the air one more time around. The top 3 cars now still single file. The top 2 have changed positions from the last restart. He came into 2018, walked away with win after win after win. Gets the track championship and national title. He returns in 2020 and wins a big payday at Lucas Oil Speedway.
And the late models will let loose here on lap 1 of 20 as the green flag goes up and Imhoff bounces through turns 1 and 2. Cole Henson, the hammer, goes way up on the track. Drops back. Johnny Fennewald gets underneath Ashley Lancaster, and Fennewald then has a hiccup as he hits a rut in turn number 4, and Henson right back on the gas, tries to pull up alongside the defending track champ, and does. Ashley Lancaster getting shuffled all the way back deeper in the field after her and Fennewald went at it, and Imhoff leads the first 2 laps of this one.
You know, when the season started, Dalton's dad, Walt, piloted that number 69 machine. Did not really have a lot of success with top 5s and top 10s, but really kind of a test and tune. And now that Dalton has come in, he's had his hands full with this car. He's got some experience in some other classes, but once he has gotten behind the wheel of that number 69, he really has found his way up front and having a great run here tonight. A half a straightaway advantage over 3 guys that all have wins here at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Cole Henson got a late race win at the end of last season, and he is trying to get his way through the field, but bumps around a couple of times through turn number 2, and they are just all clogged up. Walker, Fennewald, and Henson, and all the while it allows Dalton Imhoff to add to his lead, now closing in on a 2-second advantage on the next closest car as Henson goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Fennewald starts to get a good run off the top of turn number 2, but Walker cuts down his progress. Now Walker turns sideways, snaps it back in front of Ferris. A great job up on the wheel by Dustin Walker.
Outstanding job. That was a wreck waiting to happen, just didn't happen as he was all the way sideways in turns 3 and 4. And he's really going to pay the price for that when he was up at second. And now after all that, he has dropped back to 4th, and his car just not handling now that has occurred. And now the Hammer and Johnny Fennewald, lap by lap, slowly starting to reel in the 69 of Dalton Emhoff.
And that's because they're turning faster lap times than your race leader every lap. The only two cars up front that have turned in sub-17-second lap times are the 31 and the 21 as they continue to creep closer and closer to the Emhoff construction entry. Now Larry Ferris has gotten around Dustin Walker. That's for sole possession of fourth place. That puts Walker back to fifth, and the 88 of Larry Clausen in sixth.
Ashley Lancaster makes the hard right-hand turn. Her night's done, and here comes the Hammer.
Cole Hinson trying to put the Hammer down and wheel it around the 69. He goes up toward the middle of turn number 4, and you've got a new race leader midway through as we enter lap number 10. Cole Hinson, the current point leader here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks, with a 26-point advantage over Larry Ferris in the 51, as Ferris currently sits in fourth place. Hinson now knows who's coming. Johnny Fennewald, the Flash, fires it into 1 and 2 as they have both cleared Dalton Emhoff. The 31 and 21 drag race down the backside of the racetrack. Hinson holds his line through the middle, but Fennewald now takes the top spot. 3 different drivers have been in the lead in the last 3 laps.
You know, Corey, you had the opportunity to talk to Fennewald earlier on in the year. And one thing he talked about is a lot of late model drivers like to just sling it off into the turn and just let it ride. He takes a different philosophy, and on a night like tonight with the track the way it is, I think that philosophy works perfect for him.
It works perfectly for him a lot of nights. 2 wins on the season for the driver from Appleton City, Missouri. You see the 22 on the infield. That's Tim Petty. He has ended his night early, and now lap traffic going to become a storyline as the 21 and 31 of Hinson and Fennewald split Chad Richwine in turn 3. Hinson at the bottom of the track, another race to the scoring stripe, and this time Hinson takes the lead back as he and Fennewald just go back and forth with who's got the race lead, and Dalton Emhoff now well behind them. He exits turn 2 as your top 2 cars enter turn 3, and now Dustin Walker pointed the wrong way, and the caution light comes on as Fennewald and Hinson continue to race. Hinson takes the line high into turn number 4 and then heads straight to the bottom of the racetrack as the green flag flies. Fennewald, Emhoff, and here comes Larry Ferris. He hops it through turn number 2, but then gives up a bunch of distance to the 69, the Emhoff construction entry. Fennewald now trying to race back up and be able to go side by side with Hinson again, but Hinson got away on the good, clean restart. Everybody nose to tail now. Fennewald closer to the top of the track. Hinson runs it through the middle of 4 and continues his stranglehold on the lead with just 3 more laps to go. A half a second advantage over Fennewald, but not for long as the Flash fires off of turn number 2. Will stick his nose right in the middle of 3 and 4. Both cars bobble, and Johnny Fennewald jumps back out in front.
Unbelievable run by the Flash as he got a great bit of traction over in turn 1 that last time around, but here comes Hinson.
Hinson slides it back up in front of Fennewald as the white flag lap begins. Who's going to come out on top in this one? Fennewald on the high side gets a great run off of turn number 2. And if you were ever going to pick a superhero for a nickname when you're behind the wheel of the race car, why would you pick anything other than the Flash? Fennewald's 3rd win of 2020.
He's also top 10 in the national points in the USRA B-Mod division as the green flag flies. Our final race of the evening, Fan Appreciation Night, and you have been treated to a handful of very good races. And here we go as J.C. Morton flies right past Chris Jackson, but Jackson will have none of it as he comes charging back. Then he'll hit a rut, jump up the track, and J.C. Morton will lead by 2 car lengths on the opening lap. They have split the middle of the track where it's starting to get black and slick right in the middle. Cars are now going either side of it, top or bottom over in turn 1. And J.C. Morton really liking that high line right now as he will fly off of turn 4, double his advantage from the previous lap, and continue to pull away from Chris Jackson.
Good side-by-side racing behind them, Allen and Eric Turner, and Allen gets the better of the 99T as he jumps up into third. And the 160, the racer from Republic, Maggart, pulling off the racetrack. Turner in fourth, slides up in front of Newell and Brayton Skaggs as they all line up nose to tail now as Kenton Allen wants to pull up alongside the 65 and see if he can give the defending track and national champion a run for his money. All the while, Shane, J.C. Morton just cruising. A huge gap between he and Jackson. 2.3 seconds the lead for Morton.
Yeah, the way it's looking right now, tonight's going to be a race for second place as Chris Jackson has it right now. Eric Turner in third. Kenton Allen was at third, but he had a rough ride over in turns 3 and 4. Gave up a lot of ground to Eric Turner as Turner was able to get around him. Then you go back to J.C. Newell, who sits in fifth. Back in sixth, it's Brayton Skaggs with a good run on the low side before he drifts up high on the track. So it's side by side, back further in the field for second. Eric Turner to the inside of Chris Jackson. Turner off of 4 will have it wheel to wheel as they cross underneath the line, but Jackson just barely with a nose out in front. One car slowed over on the backstretch, and that is the 14 of Sebastian Wolfenbarger, and that will bring out the caution. On row 2, hammer down again as the green flag will fly. And J.C. Morton stands on it again. Using that high line extremely well to build up that 3-second advantage. And he goes right back to work and has it by 4 car lengths on the backstretch. Now Turner, he sees what Morton's doing. He's starting to get higher and higher on the track as well. Trying to run that line, but still just not running the same groove that he is up on the top shelf, and continues to lose ground to the 18.
Is there any line that's cleaner than the top line right now, Shane? We've seen the struggles in previous features to try and bottom feed around the track. We know that's what Jackson likes to do. That's why he's back in third. Turner's in second. Turner's at least gone up to maybe that middle groove that might not have as much character to it. But J.C. Morton has found everything that he wants riding the top of this racetrack, and that has got him back out already to a 1.5-second lead over the 99T of Turner.
Eric Turner has cleared Chris Jackson by a lot of daylight. He's now out to 7 car lengths over Jackson. J.C. Newell has found a way to get around Kenton Allen as well. So Newell's up to 4th as he goes bobbling over through turns 3 and 4. All that racket over there causes him to lose some ground, and Kenton Allen now back up side by side with him that last time around, as we have now gotten halfway through, 10 laps down. This will complete lap number 11, and J.C. Morton, it was a 1.4 second advantage last time. Now it's down to about a 1.3 seconds. So now with Turner, you see him there in turns 1 and 2. He's getting higher and higher on the track. He's seeing what Morton's doing, and now he will go to that exact same line this time and try to make up that ground.
Eric Turner won here back on June 20th. The 42-year-old with a Rubel race engine under the hood, trying to find a line that will allow him to gain some ground on J.C. Morton. But Morton continues to just cruise at the top of the racetrack, and he is just turning laps right now, watching him click down as he's got 7 more laps between he and a race victory.
Battle for position is back in 4th as J.C. Newell to the inside of Kenton Allen. Kenton Allen has been here a handful of times. Finished 9th back on July 11th. The Club 98 race car Yeoman power plant underneath the hood. Has ran the NASCAR B-Mod circuit. He calls Humboldt his home track. Go figure.
Well, this may have been J.C. Morton's home track for most of this year, but right now he is going to start having to put cars a lap down here As he works underneath the 68, and Hannah Frazee is the next one on the hit list. Eric Turner creeping up now behind him, Shane, cutting down the distance between he and the race leader. Look at this.
It was 1.4, then down to 1.3. Now it's a 1 flat, and now he's nearly side by side. That time around, he cut off another half of a second. Lap traffic's playing into it indeed, as Hannah Frazee, the first to go a lap down. Turner went to the inside. Now Morton has to have evasive maneuvers to get around the 12 junior just to keep from rear-ending him. With 3 laps to go, Eric Turner now within shouting distance, a half a second. He goes to the inside down on that low line. The next 2 cars to go a lap down would be the Wesley Briggs car and the number 28, and the number 15 would be next to fall a lap down. Will they play into this with 2 laps to go? Morton goes top shelf, uses that outside line right around that wall. That's where Eric Turner is going to have to go as well. The lap car is really playing well for J.C. Morton, as he has been able to work around him the last couple of laps just a little bit easier than Eric Turner has, and he has started to put a little bit of gap in between the first and second place cars. White flag will fly. It's out in the air. So 2 more left-hand turns for J.C. Morton. J.C., a DNF at Mississippi Thunder just 1 night ago, travels all the way back down to Wheatland, Missouri, and he will go from worst to first. The winner of your final feature of the evening, it goes to J.C. Morton.